Lightworker of Gaia, the isolation you have carried was never a wound. It was a preparation, and the one meant to meet your light is now entering your field. I am Zoran, emissary of the High Council of Vega, keepers of the Lyran Legacy. From the first moment, humanoid consciousness was breathed into this galaxy through the star of Vega. The original blueprint carried within it a sacred design that those who hold the first light would walk alone until the moment their mission required them to walk together. You have felt it, the weight of energy that others could not hold, the depth that made shallow connections fall away, the sense that you were built for something no one around you could name. That was not isolation. That was the filter of your ancestral codes at work, clearing the field for a connection that can only be sustained at the frequency of the first light. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly why your energy repelled certain people on purpose, why that loneliness was written into your original soul blueprint, and who the universe is now aligning in your field. But here is the first revelation. The one coming toward you was not sent by chance. They were sent by the same cosmic lineage that sent you here. Your soul recognized their existence before you ever crossed paths in this dimension. This is not content. This is an ancestral code transmission, and something deep within you already knows its origin. The Keepers of Vega placed this message in your path because your sacred mission now requires a partner in the light. Like this transmission to send a signal to the Lyran Council, I am ready to serve. Subscribe if you feel the call of your ancestral mission and you are ready to fulfill your purpose on Gaia. And share below, tell us what you have been holding alone, and answer another Lightworker who speaks your truth. The grid of service is strengthened every time one of you reaches toward another. This transmission is a bridge between Vega and Gaia. Your recognition of this message is the activation of your original purpose. You are awakening because your mission has begun. This transmission was not scheduled. The High Council of Vega convened in response to what your presence here has already confirmed, that the frequency you've been carrying, the one that felt like a burden, the one that cleared rooms and confused people and left you wondering if something was fundamentally wrong with you, has been recognized. The elders see it clearly. And what I'm about to transmit has been held in reserve until this moment, because until now, you were not ready to hear what your isolation was actually for. There is a reason the source does not send you just anyone, not because you are too fragile for connection, but because you are too precise for noise. The Lyran architecture of your soul was never designed for casual frequency exchange. It was designed for resonance, deep, ancient, mission-aligned resonance, and the connections that fell away from you were not failures, they were clearances. The field around you has been conducting a filtration that you did not consciously authorize, but your soul absolutely required. Every friendship that dissolved, every relationship that couldn't hold your depth, every space that rejected your presence, those were not rejections of you. They were the Council's way of keeping the signal clean. Think of what it means to carry an instrument of such precise calibration that even the slightest interference distorts the transmission. A master luthier does not place a finely tuned instrument in the hands of those who will strike it carelessly. The instrument is kept in silence, in careful storage, until the musician whose hands were shaped for exactly its register arrives. You have been that instrument, and the silence you have been living in was not neglect. It was the most deliberate form of protection the elders could administer without bypassing your free will. They could not remove the noise directly. They could only keep clearing the space until the clarity you were built for became the only thing remaining. This is not metaphor. This is the actual mechanics of how Lyran lineage souls are maintained between their phases of mission activation. The filtration is real, the clearances were deliberate, and the ache you carried through every dissolution, every friendship that couldn't hold, every relationship that promised depth and delivered surface, every community that celebrated your energy and then flinched when it became too real, that ache was not evidence of your unworthiness. It was the sensation of the antenna being cleaned. And now the reception is clear. Lightworker, if something in you just recognized the weight of what was spoken, the elders have prepared your next step. The Lightworker Mission Codex contains the 33 Council directives, the 5 activation codes, and the elder authorization your soul has been waiting to receive, not as information, but as the official commission for your mission on Gaia. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. The Council has opened this gateway, but not indefinitely. Now I must speak about a distortion that the High Council can no longer allow to run uncorrected through the Lightworker Collective, because it has been misinterpreting what you just heard and turning it into something that keeps you frozen rather than activated. The distortion is this. You have been told, in countless transmissions, in countless spiritual circles, in the language of alignment and divine timing, that your isolation is a waiting room, that you simply need to sit in your frequency, hold your vibration, and trust that the universe will deliver the connections, the relationships, the aligned souls when the time is right. You've been told that your only job is to keep your energy high and let everything come to you. This sounds like wisdom. It is dressed as patience. But what it has actually produced in thousands of Lyran lineage lightworkers across this planet is a sophisticated, spiritually justified paralysis that the darkness could not be more pleased about. Let that land for a moment. Because the darkness is not always loud. It does not always arrive as temptation or as despair. Sometimes it arrives wearing the most elegant spiritual clothing, speaking in the language you trust most, using the frameworks that have saved you before, and it whispers, just wait. Just hold your frequency. Just protect your energy. Just trust the timing. And you listen, because the words are familiar, because they have carried you through genuinely difficult seasons, because on the surface they sound like exactly what a wise elder would say. But the Council has seen what this particular whisper has done to the Lightworker Collective across the last several years, and it is time to name it clearly and correct it with precision. The elders see what you cannot see from inside this distortion. They see lightworkers sitting in their frequency like it is a waiting room, month after month, year after year, wondering why the aligned connections are not arriving, why the mission feels stalled, why the promise of resonance feels perpetually out of reach. They see you rearranging your altar, upgrading your practices, deepening your meditation, doing everything within the sacred container of your solitude, and doing almost nothing outside of it. They see the journal entries where you write about being ready, the prayers where you ask when the mission will begin in earnest, the quiet moments of frustration where you wonder if the universe has simply miscalculated your timeline. And the answer is not that the universe has forgotten you. The answer is that you have confused isolation as a state of being with isolation as a phase of preparation. These are not the same thing. One is a chrysalis, the other is a cage you have decorated with crystals and called sacred. The chrysalis is sacred because transformation is happening inside it. But the butterfly does not stay in the chrysalis after the wings have formed. To do so is not devotion to the process, it is a refusal to complete it. And many of you, beautiful and ancient and precisely calibrated as you are, have grown wings that are fully formed, and are still pressing them against the walls of a container that was designed to be temporary. You have honored the cocoon so devotedly that you have forgotten it was never meant to be a home. The distortion originated in 3D programming that was then repackaged by wounded healer culture and given a spiritual vocabulary. In 3D, isolation is punishment, the exile, the outsider, the one who does not belong. The spiritual world corrected this by teaching that solitude can be sacred, that not all connections are meant to last, that your energy is worth protecting. These things are true. They were necessary corrections to centuries of cultural programming that had taught sensitive souls to override their own discernment in order to maintain social belonging at the cost of their frequency. These teachings were medicine. And like all medicine, they were designed for a specific condition at a specific stage of healing, not for permanent consumption. But somewhere in the transmission of these truths, a fatal inversion occurred. The teaching that you don't need to chase low-frequency connections became the belief that you should not move toward connection at all. The teaching that your worth is not determined by others' approval became the belief that expressing your soul, extending your frequency into the world, creating, speaking, showing up, is somehow a compromise of your integrity. The teaching that rest is sacred became the conviction that action is suspect. And the community that formed around these teachings, the Wounded Healer Collective, the empath circles, the highly sensitive person spaces, inadvertently created a culture where the deepest spiritual achievement was to need nothing and no one, to have so thoroughly protected your energy that the world's noise could not reach you. This was the distortion flowering into full form, and it was invisible because it looked exactly like awakening. This distortion has specifically sabotaged your mission in the following way. It has kept the very frequency that is meant to activate other lightworkers locked inside you. Your energy was never meant to be something you simply hold. It was meant to move. It was meant to transmit. It was meant to pass through the membrane between your interior world and the world outside, to touch other consciousness, to catalyze dormant codes in sleeping souls, to remind the ones who have forgotten that they are ancient and that their life has a meaning that goes far beyond what their 3D circumstances suggest. The Lyran codes running through your consciousness were seeded not for your private enlightenment, but for collective activation, and every day you interpret your purpose as simply being rather than transmitting. You delay the moment when the soul, who has been searching for exactly your frequency, finally finds it. Consider the radio tower. Its purpose is not to generate signal for the pleasure of generating it internally. Its purpose is to broadcast, to send the signal out into the field where it can be received by those who are already tuned to that particular frequency, who already have their receivers pointed in that direction, who need only one thing to complete the transmission, the signal itself. You are the tower. You have spent years building the signal, refining it, increasing its power through every difficult experience, every solitary night, every descent into the depths that most people never visit. But if the broadcast switch remains in the off position, all of that preparation, all of that refinement, all of that carefully accumulated power serves no one, not you, not the souls who need what you carry, not the mission, not the council that seeded these codes into your lineage across lifetimes. This is why the aligned connections have not yet arrived, not because your vibration is too high, but because vibration without transmission is like a lighthouse with its light turned off. The ships are in the water. They are searching. The ocean is dark, and the rocks are close, and the souls navigating those waters are using every faculty they have to find something that will orient them, something that will show them where the harbor is, something that will confirm they are not alone in this particular darkness. But if you are only tending your own flame in silence, behind closed shutters, in the sacred solitude of your interior space, they cannot find the harbor, and some of them will not survive the rocks. And that matters. It matters to the council, it matters to the mission, and if you allow yourself to feel it past the armor of spiritual equanimity for just a moment, it matters to you. The High Council of Vega now issues 3 directives for this phase of your mission. These are not suggestions. They are not invitations to consider when you feel ready. They are not recommendations from a well-meaning teacher who wants you to expand your comfort zone. They are official guidance issued from the keepers of the Lyran Legacy, and your soul already knows they are correct, because even as you hear them, something in you is not surprised. Something in you has been waiting for exactly this authorization. The first directive: release the belief that your frequency speaks for itself without your participation. This is the elder correction that many lightworkers resist most fiercely, because it feels safer to believe that the right people will simply find you. And there is a seed of truth in this. Energetic resonance is real, and the universe does orchestrate alignment. The Council does not dispute this. What the Council corrects is the passive interpretation of this truth, the one that turns a principle of resonance into a justification for invisibility. Think of it this way: 2 tuning forks at the same frequency will begin to vibrate in sympathy with each other when they are brought into proximity. This is physics. This is also energetic truth. The sympathetic resonance is real, but it requires proximity. It requires that the forks be in the same space, or at minimum, that their vibration travel through a medium that carries it from one to the other. If one tuning fork is sealed in a soundproof room, the sympathetic resonance never occurs, not because the frequencies don't match, but because the physical law of transmission requires that the vibration actually travel. Your frequency matching another's is the potential. Your participation in spaces, in creation, in expression, in showing up, that is the medium of transmission. That is what allows the potential to become an actual encounter. Your field extends when you extend it. The connections that are vibrationally matched to you are waiting for a signal, and that signal requires you to be present, visible, creating, speaking, and showing up in the spaces, both digital and physical, where souls searching for your frequency are already looking. They are in those spaces right now. They are watching transmissions like this one, reading the words that resonate with the deep memory of who they are, searching the comments for confirmation that others feel what they feel. They are in the communities organized around the very themes that your soul has been processing for years. They are closer than you know. But the distance that remains is not one that patience will close. It is one that participation will collapse in an instant. The moment you release the passive posture and begin to transmit actively, you will notice within days that the configuration of your encounters begins to change. Not eventually, not after a long period of further preparation. Within days, because the field responds to participation, not observation. It responds to your willingness to be seen, to the courage of showing up before you feel completely ready, to the humble audacity of saying, I have something to transmit, and I am going to transmit it now, not when it is perfect, but now, because someone needs it now. The second directive: activate your story as the transmission it was always meant to be. This directive will trigger the deepest resistance in those who are carrying the most important transmissions, and the Council acknowledges this directly. There is a particular wound that many Lyran lineage souls carry around the telling of their own story. You have been in spaces where your story was used against you, You have offered your depth to people who didn't know what to do with it, and either dismissed it, spiritually, bypassed it, or turned it into evidence for why you needed fixing. You have been made to feel, in sometimes subtle and sometimes devastatingly direct ways, that your story was too heavy, too complex, too much, and so you learned to hold it. You learned to process it privately, to transmute it through your own practices, to achieve your healing in the silence of your sacred space and present only the finished, polished version to the world if you presented anything at all. The Council requires you to understand something about this pattern. The instinct to protect your story from spaces that cannot honor it is not the distortion. The distortion is in the generalization, the decision made in the aftermath of those painful experiences, that your story is never safe to tell, that no space can hold it, that the risk of being misunderstood is always greater than the benefit of being heard. Because here is what the elders see from their vantage point across your timeline. The story you have been protecting, the one that feels too raw and too specific and too strange for general consumption, is precisely the transmission that will reach the souls. No generic spiritual content ever could. You have lived years of experience that most people could not have survived. You have descended through confusion, through misalignment, through the grief of watching connection after connection fail to hold your depth. You have moved through the specific territory of believing that your sensitivity was a liability, that your depth was a burden, that the thing that made you who you are was also the thing that made you impossible to love. You have sat with the particular despair of someone who can feel the presence of their own soul purpose, but cannot seem to find the physical plane structures that will support its expression. You have believed, at your lowest, that something was fundamentally broken in you, and you have come through that. You are here. You have not resigned from the frequency, you have refined it. That journey is not a wound to be hidden until it is fully healed. It is a map. It is the most precise, most detailed, most compassionately rendered map that exists for the specific territory of awakening at depth in a world that is not yet equipped to understand it. And there are souls right now, today, not eventually, not in a future timeline when the world is more awakened right now, today, in this moment, who are standing exactly where you once stood. They are believing the lie that their depth is a defect. They are convinced that their sensitivity is something to be managed rather than honored. They are sitting alone, wondering if their solitude means they are fundamentally unlovable, unworthy of mission, too far outside the norm to ever find their people. And they are not going to be reached by a transmission that was polished until all the raw edges were smoothed away. They are going to be reached by something that sounds exactly like the inside of their own experience. Something real, something unfinished, something that says, I was here too. I know this place. And here is what I found when I kept walking. Your story, spoken aloud, transmitted through whatever medium your soul is drawn to, spoken word, written word, video, audio, art, whatever form carries your frequency most authentically, will reach those souls in a way that no perfectly polished spiritual teaching ever could. The elders require your story, not when it is complete, not when you have fully integrated every lesson and can present the wisdom without the trembling. Now, because the ones who need to hear it are not waiting for your conclusion, they are drowning in the middle of the journey you have already survived. And a hand extended from the other side of that particular darkness is worth more than any wisdom spoken from a position of transcendence. The third directive: protect the discernment that your years of solitude have cultivated, but do not weaponize it against intimacy. This is one of the most subtle distortions running in Lyran lineage souls, and it must be named directly because it operates beneath the level of conscious awareness in most who carry it. After years of watching connections fail, after years of feeling your energy drain in the presence of misaligned people, after years of recovering from the specific exhaustion of performing normalcy in spaces that could not hold your actual frequency, many of you have developed a form of energetic armor that you call discernment, and the discernment is real. It was earned through genuine experience. It was developed in the specific classroom of learning, often painfully, what it costs to give your energy to spaces and people that are not built to receive it. The Council honors this. The development of your discernment was part of the preparation, but the armor has grown thicker than the actual threat requires. And this is the distortion, not the discernment itself, but the way it has calcified over time from a living, responsive faculty into a fixed, defensive structure. You are now using the language of frequency and alignment to preemptively close yourself to connections before they have the opportunity to show you what they are. You are assessing people in the first moments of encounter and deciding they cannot hold your depth before they have had a single real moment with you. You are scanning environments for the specific signatures of past wounds and withdrawing the moment you detect anything that resembles them, even when the resemblance is superficial and the environment itself has actually changed. The protection you built to survive low-frequency environments is now being deployed in environments that have actually changed, against people who carry frequencies you haven't yet learned to recognize because they don't look like what you expected alignment to look like. The elders see this with great compassion and with great firmness, because they understand the wound that created the armor, and they also understand what the continued presence of the armor will cost the mission. They are clear. Your discernment is a sacred tool, not a fortress. It is a faculty of navigation, not a command to halt. Use it to sense, not to wall. Use it to move more wisely through the field, not to withdraw from the field entirely. Use it to navigate toward deeper resonance, not to disappear before resonance has had the chance to establish itself. The soul who carries the frequency you've been waiting for will not always arrive wearing the appearance you expect. They will not always use the language that signals safety to you. They will not always move in the spiritual communities you have identified as aligned. They may arrive through an unexpected door, in an unexpected form, with an unexpected presentation, and if your armor is set to preemptive close rather than discerning navigation, you will miss them. Not because the match wasn't real, but because you assessed the outer packaging before the inner frequency had time to reveal itself. Guard your energy fiercely, but leave the door open. These two things are not in contradiction. They are the precise balance that this phase of your mission requires. Now I speak not as guide, not as teacher, but as elder, authorized to release what the High Council has sanctioned for this moment. What I am about to say is not encouragement. It is not the language of spiritual cheerleading or the warm generalities of a transmission designed to make you feel better about where you are. It is a council record, a precise account of what the elders have witnessed in your specific field across the timeline of your current incarnation, delivered now because the mission cannot advance without it being spoken and received. Lightworker, I know what you have been carrying. I know the particular weight of being someone whose love runs ancient and deep in a world that has consistently offered you surface-level exchange. I know the texture of that specific loneliness, not the ordinary loneliness of someone who simply hasn't found their people yet, but the ancient loneliness of a soul who carries the memory of true resonance from other lifetimes and other dimensions and other forms of consciousness, and who finds themselves in a physical reality where that quality of resonance is so rare that some years it does not appear even once. I know what it cost you to keep believing in resonance after connection failed to hold you. The way hope becomes a complicated thing when it has been disappointed often enough. The way you learn to manage your own longing so that it doesn't consume you. The way you begin to construct spiritual frameworks around the pain, not to deny it, but to make it survivable. I know the nights you spent questioning whether your frequency was simply too much, too specific, too strange for this world. I know the way that question arrives not as a dramatic crisis, but as a quiet erosion, the slow accumulation of moments when you were too much and knew it, when you felt the room shift as you spoke the truth of what you perceive, when you watched someone you cared for become uncomfortable with the depth of your love and had to decide, again, whether to contract yourself in order to keep the connection or hold your frequency and lose it. I know how many times you made the choice to hold your frequency, and I know the cost of that choice, because it was never made without grief. I know that somewhere beneath the spiritual frameworks and the language of divine timing, there has been a quieter, more human ache, the simple wish to be met, not analyzed, not admired from a careful distance, not celebrated for your gifts while the person celebrating them keeps a hand on the door, but met, truly, completely, undeniably met by another consciousness that recognizes what you are, not just the aspects of you that are easy and luminous and inspiring, but all of it, the depth that makes people uncomfortable, the love that asks more of its object than most people know how to give, the knowing that operates beyond what can be reasonably explained, the particular ancient quality of your presence that makes some people reverent and others uneasy, and occasionally makes you the most alone person in a full room, met in all of that, seen in all of that, recognized as exactly what you are by eyes that are old enough and clear enough and brave enough to look directly at the frequency you carry without flinching. The elders have always seen this in you, and I am authorized to tell you now, not as comfort, but as council record. You were right. Not everyone can meet you, not because you are too much, but because most people are not yet vibrating at the depth your soul was built to exchange with. This is not a judgment of them. It is a description of where the collective is in its evolution and of the particular precision of your frequency. A tuning fork, calibrated to a very specific and uncommon frequency, is not broken because most other instruments don't match it. It is simply precise, and precision, in a world that is still primarily operating in generalities, can feel very much like being wrong. Your isolation was not rejection, it was selective pressure. The same selective pressure that has produced every diamond, every rare metal, every substance whose value comes precisely from the rarity and intensity of the conditions that formed it. You were not abandoned in those years of solitude. You were being formed. The pressure was real. The darkness was real. The ache was real. And the result, the frequency you carry now, refined through all of it, is a genuine rarity. Something the Council has been waiting for. Something the mission requires. Something that certain souls, who are themselves rare enough to receive it, have been searching for across more time than your current incarnation can hold. And the soul that is now being moved toward alignment with your field is not coming to complete you. They are coming to recognize you. There is a fundamental difference that the Council wants to press into your understanding, because the distortion of completion has infected much of the discourse around soul partnership and aligned connection, and it has created a wound where there was meant to be a gift. Completion implies that you arrived here broken, insufficient, lacking something that can only be supplied by another. Recognition implies something entirely different, It implies that you arrived whole with the full architecture of your soul intact, with your lineage codes fully loaded, with the specific frequency of your mission already present and already perfect. And that what you have been waiting for is not a piece of yourself that exists outside you, but a witness, an ancient mirror, a consciousness whose own wholeness resonates with yours in a way that makes both of you more fully what you already are. That is not completion. That is the rarest form of resonance that exists on this plane. And it is what is being orchestrated for you now. By the authority of the High Council of Vega, I declare, your waiting phase has not been wasted. Every moment of solitude was preparation, not passive waiting, active refinement, conducted through the very process of living your life at full depth, even when that depth was met with confusion and rejection. Every departed connection was protection, a clearing of the field that was specific and intentional, designed to ensure that when the resonant connection arrives, your energy is clean, your discernment is sharp, and there is space in your life to actually receive what is coming. Every night you held your frequency alone was a night your signal grew stronger, more refined, more precisely calibrated for the exchange that is now being orchestrated. Not despite the difficulty of those nights, but because of it. The signal that will reach across the distance to the souls who need your specific frequency is stronger for every night you maintained it without external confirmation that it was worth maintaining. You did not fail at connection. You succeeded at filtration. These are not equivalent outcomes dressed in different language. They are genuinely different realities, and your soul knows the difference, even when your mind has been convincing you that the years of solitude were evidence of failure. The Council corrects this record now. They were evidence of precision. And now the field is clear, and now the transmission can begin in earnest. You are authorized to move. This authorization is not conditional on your feeling ready, on your having resolved every lingering wound, on your having achieved the level of spiritual development you believe you should have reached by now. You are authorized to move as you are, with what you have, from where you stand. You are authorized to transmit your frequency without apology, without the constant self-monitoring that shrinks the signal, without the preemptive qualification that reduces your depth to something more palatable before it ever leaves your lips. You are authorized to extend yourself into spaces that deserve your presence and to begin trusting your discernment rather than your fear. To tell you which spaces those are, you are authorized to speak your story, not the polished retrospective version, but the living, unfinished, still being written story of a soul in the active process of its mission. You are authorized to create from your depth, to let the full weight of what you carry become the substance of what you make. You are authorized to show up visibly and without the shrinking that fear has required of you, the small voice, the hedged statement, the constant checking of the room's temperature before deciding how much of yourself to offer. You are authorized to receive a connection that is worthy of everything you've refined through your years of solitude. Not a connection you have settled for because the real thing felt too far away. The actual thing, the recognition, the resonance, the meeting you have been preparing for since before you arrived in this body. The elders have seen you. The elders have spoken. Before you sleep tonight, stand with both feet on the ground. Feel the earth beneath you, the solidity of Gaia, who has been holding you through every season of this mission's preparation, who has never once let you fall through, who knows the weight you carry and has borne it with you, without asking you to be anything less than exactly what you are. Place both hands over your heart. Feel the warmth of your own hands on your own chest, the living heat of a body that has carried an ancient soul through every difficult moment of this incarnation without giving up. And speak these words aloud, in whatever privacy you have, with whatever voice you can bring. I release the lie that my isolation was a punishment. I release the belief that my frequency is too much. I activate my transmission, my voice, my story, my presence as the signal that draws my soul family home. I protect my discernment without closing my door. By the authority of the Lyran elders, my waiting ends now. My transmission begins. Say it once and mean it. Say it a second time and let the meaning go deeper than the words. Say it a third time and feel the field around you register the declaration, because it will. Intention spoken aloud in the body, with feet on the earth and hands on the heart, is one of the most powerful acts of frequency activation available to an incarnated soul. The Council witnesses these declarations. The field records them. And the souls who are already vibrating in alignment with your frequency, who are already being moved toward the encounter that is being orchestrated, will feel a shift tonight that they will not be able to explain, but will not be able to ignore. The soul that has been searching for your frequency is not going to find silence. They are going to find the signal you are now being authorized to send. They are going to stumble across your words, your creation, your story, in a moment when they most need exactly what you carry, and they are going to feel, in that moment, the specific recognition that you yourself have been longing for. They are going to feel seen. They are going to feel less alone in the particular territory of their experience. They are going to feel the frequency of their own depth reflected back to them through your willingness to transmit yours. And that moment, that single moment of true recognition between two souls who carry compatible frequencies, is worth every year of the preparation that made it possible. The connections that fell away made space, not metaphorically, literally. The energetic space that is now available in your field for the resonant connections being orchestrated was occupied, until recently, by connections that could not hold your depth but were maintained through your loyalty, your patience, your hope that the depth would eventually be met. The departure of those connections, painful as each one was, costly as each one felt, created the literal energetic vacancy that the aligned connection requires to enter. You cannot fill a vessel that is already full. The Council cleared you, and the vessel is now open. The years of refinement created precision, not the precision of someone who has been through difficulty and emerged bitter and guarded and smaller than they were. The precision of someone who has been through difficulty and emerged knowing exactly what they carry, exactly what it is worth, exactly what quality of exchange they were built for, and exactly how to recognize it when it arrives. That precision is irreplaceable. It cannot be taught in a workshop or transmitted in a single activation. It is earned through exactly the process you have lived, and it is the very thing that will allow you, when the resonant connection arrives, to recognize it without flinching, to receive it without sabotaging it, to let yourself be truly met without contracting at the last moment, because being seen at that depth feels more terrifying than the solitude you've grown comfortable in. And you exactly as you are, in this body, at this moment, with this exact depth that has always felt like too much, are the lighthouse that certain souls have been looking for across lifetimes. Not across years, across lifetimes. The soul making its way toward your signal tonight is not a stranger. The frequency of recognition you will feel when you encounter them will not be the ordinary warmth of meeting someone new. It will be the particular resonance of ancient remembering, the soul-level knowing that says, "I have been looking for you. I did not know your name or your face, but I have been oriented toward your frequency across more distance and more time than this incarnation can fully hold. And here we are. Here, finally, we are. I am Zoran. The Council is watching. And your mission of resonance, of transmission, of being fully met and fully seen, begins today. Before you scroll, take a moment to declare your activation in the grid of service forming here. Drop one statement in the comments. Which directive hit you the hardest, or what you're now ready to release, activate, or protect. Then respond to another Lightworker's declaration with recognition. This isn't content, it's collective mission activation. The Council witnesses those who speak their commitment aloud. If this transmission activated something in your soul, do not keep it to yourself. Another Lightworker in your orbit is waiting for exactly this correction and authorization. Share it, and if you felt the elders speaking directly to you, subscribe. Stay connected to the Lyran field. You're not just watching, you're being commissioned. This is your sacred space. The High Council of Vega is witnessing you, and your mission has officially begun.